Today I'm going to give a little update of where I am at in making knives. Here I have two more of the small EDC knives. They're just like this one. This was the first one I made. This one is all finished and ready to go. I'm working on the sheath. I'll show you that in a few minutes. These are the same knives, both in 01 tool steel. Then I'm also working on a new kukri. This is also an 01. This is what you would consider a 5-position handle. You can choke up on it here. This is not a choil. You don't squeeze. You put your fingers like that, and you can use this flat portion of the blade up into the belly, or you can go into choked up position where the knife is going to have a very neutral balance when it's done, or you can go back here to what would be a normal position. You can slide all the way back on the handle, or you can come back for a 2-finger or 3-finger grip, whichever you prefer, on the back of the handle to do some chopping. So this is going to have a nice belly, nice point. You'll be able to do all kinds of bushcraft work with that. You have a multi-grind, and this will be a great area for doing carving. Now I still have to do the finished grinding on this. The blade coming down is going to end up being somewhat convexed, and then you'll have a standard flat edge here, and this will be the same bevel. So it'll be the same bevel all the way through. It'll be pretty easy to sharpen. So this is going to be a really nice knife when it's done. This is what I would consider an excellent camp knife. And these will be for pocket carry or for belt carry. Now let's take a look at another knife in the sheath. You know, in my last video I was showing this knife as a new knife that I made based off the designs of William Collins. It's different than the knives he made, and the handle is different, but some of the concepts with the multi-grind are the same, and you can even see that same concept carried through here on the kukri. This has been the best knife that I've ever carried. I've been also doing some carving with this thing lately, and it just excels at everything. Now this was an old sheath from Knives Ship Free. You can see the KSF on it. And I generally use this when I make a new knife, so I have something to put it in until I have time to make a proper sheath for it. So here's a prototype sheath that I was working on for it. It's larger on one side to have a series of holes so that you can put a clip on it. And I'm going to make a simple Kydex clip for it. This is actually a clip for a concealed carry holster, not really a pocket clip, because you can see how thick it is. That's designed to go over a belt, although you could bolt this on at the height that you choose and clip it on a belt. There would be no problem with that. Depending on which side you clip it on, this could be either right or left hand carry. Right now, let me show you. You can see right there's a leather loop that's drying. And that leather loop looks like this. This was the pattern for it. What that loop is going to do is you'll bolt it on using these holes, something like that. Then you can carry it on the belt horizontally, but on a little bit of an angle, which I prefer. That does a couple things. That tips your sheath up just a little bit, it's easier to draw it from, and I also like that it uses a little bit of gravity to help hold the knife in there. Although this fits pretty snug. Here's how it works. This will bury in right to that first rivet. One of the problems that Kydex sheaths have, there are a lot of EDC fixed blades with Kydex sheaths. The Kydex only comes up to here. If you want the knife somewhat concealed, it has to drop in your pocket, you know, up here, so most of the handle is down inside your pocket. The problem with it is the sheath doesn't start until way deep down in your pocket. So drawing the knife can be a little bit problematic because you might slice the fabric of your pocket. Although you can, with a little bit of practice, you can get that down. The problem is resheathing the knife because you can't see it and it's buried down in the pocket. So I think a proper pocket carry sheath for a knife is going to have to be leather, and that's going to have to ride up high on the knife handle, and your clip is going to be something like this, and then that'll clip on your side of your pocket, and you'll only have just a little bit sticking out. But what that little bit sticking out will do, I mean, you can use the lanyard to help draw it. You'll be able to see the top of the sheath so you can put the knife back. Okay, and these holes let you do other accessories. Like I said, add a belt loop if you like, adjust the height, or even a vertical belt loop, like I said. So you have a lot of options with what you want to do with this, and the ability to customize that ride height, which is very important. So I think those things are necessary in a good pocket sheath. Okay, let's move on to something else. Here is the prototype. I just bent the leather and folded it in half. I have to wet this before you can fold it, otherwise it'll crack. So this is going to be the same as the prototype you saw for the other knife. This will fit right down in here. Fits nice and snug. And it will bury down in there. As you can see, there's plenty of room. We'll just leave a little bit of the handle sticking out. And we'll have something like this for a welt, which will have to be trimmed. And then we'll trim this leather off here later on. So this is the start of the sheath for this knife. It'll be the same style as this one. It'll get a belt clip and then a belt loop. Some other things I have coming along. The next batch of small EDC knives. This one's all ground out already. I have to drill some holes in the handle, and this will be ready for heat treat. And then this one needs to be cut out and shaped. Then I had a little piece of extra steel, so I'm going to make a small razor knife out of that instead of wasting it. See, that's quite a bit shorter. It's too short to really make any real knife out of it, so we'll go with something like that. So this is becoming long, so the next batch of these small EDC knives is going to be an A2. After that, I'll do a batch in EDC or V2. I ground these two knives out quite a while ago, one for me, one for a friend of mine, and these are out of EDC or V2. These were inspired from a knife that was named the clinch pick. The difference is these will be sharpened on both sides, where the clinch pick was only sharpened on one side, on this side here. If you're going to carry a knife and it's going to be an EDC knife, why not have it be usable or more usable for all your EDC tasks, not just as an emergency get off me knife. I cut out some handles for him. These scales are black burlap micarta. So they'll go on here. Towards the front, it's going to be ground down thin, and then it'll have be a little bit bulbous in the center and round off nicely in the back. And then these will get a Kydex sheath. These were a little bit of a pain to grind. Trying to get these facets right and how that facet comes out to the point and getting it to look the same on both sides. So I think that's going to be it for this update and what I have going on. Now, of these two knives in 01, one of these will be available and one of these is already spoken for. So these will be ready, probably within a couple of weeks. The A2 ones, maybe 3 or 4 weeks from now, those will be ready. And then I just may have a special version of this knife that I'll show you on July 4th. Well, that's it for this update. I hope you've enjoyed the things that I've been doing in the shop. And if you have any suggestions or any comments, please leave them below. We'll see you on the next one.